The Pathless is a drop-dead gorgeous game. It goes without saying. It was already turning heads when it was revealed all the way back in Sony's first State of Play when it showed the game off earlier this year. It is an absolute stunning masterpiece, and it's one of the main reasons why I picked it up. That and its low price tag of $40 was a great way to round out my PS5 collection. Done over by the guys at Giant Squid, they are known for incredible art direction as they've worked on such great hits as Journey, Flower, and of course the excellent underwater explorative title Abzu. So when they take on something that's a bit more action oriented and a lot of platforming and puzzle solving, I definitely had to check things out. And The Pathless is a game that you most definitely should not miss. It is an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, and striking game that has stuck with me ever since I've turned it on, all the way until I've turned it off, and definitely after the fact. Right down to its gorgeous art style, incredible music, and outstanding set pieces. This is a game that you most definitely should not skip or miss. And we're going to get into why. Kicking off with the story, it is a very simplistic game, all things considered story-wise. There is an evil deity named the Godslayer who wants to slay the 4 gods of the land. There's a goddess who's like the great overseer who's overseeing everything, and she has 4 children, and well, the Godslayer doesn't want her running things anymore and is trying to kill them all and take control of the land. So it's up to you, the Pathless main character, the one that just has no name, to go in there and save the day. It's quite simple in its execution and it's never complex, but it is a great tale to explore, mainly due to the fact that there isn't any voiced dialogue. It's all a made-up language, similar to Zelda games or something of that nature. And I find that very appealing. It helps me kind of get attached and grounded to this world, and I most definitely enjoy the fact that there's a lot of lore and stuff scattered throughout. There's these dead bodies that you'll come across inside of each zone you explore, and if you find these bodies, some of them have souls, then they're kind of these last remaining glimpses into people's lives, and it's very dreary and depressing, but somewhat kind of uplifting knowing that you're going in there and fixing things up and letting these souls go to rest as you eventually complete your quest of killing the Godslayer, who's the guy that's put them in the positions that they're at. So you get this very weird melancholy feeling, despite the fact that it is a very enjoyable open world experience and very gorgeous. It still has a sense of dread and looming depression because the Godslayer is no joke. Like, he is an actual evil dude and you have to take him out, and the game really hammers that home with all the bits of lore you'll find and explore. Now, I don't want to spoil too much of the bodies and people you'll find because I find their stories extremely fascinating and it adds to the experience, so please check it out for yourself, but just know and be kind of warned that it is a very kind of depressing experience going through, and I guess reading these NPCs' last moments, right? It's kind of Majora's Mask-esque, so keep that in mind as you play through the game, but it is still very enjoyable, and again, to me, uplifting knowing that you're kind of putting these souls to rest in what ways you can. That being said, the presentation is outstanding. It runs at a solid 1440 60 FPS, and for me that's all I needed. There is a resolution mode where it is 4K 30, but it doesn't really do much for me. The game already looks gorgeous as is because of its art style. I didn't really need the 4K, so I just took the frame rate, and it is silky smooth. You're running through these open, majestic fields with beautiful seasons changing all the time. Sometimes you'll see the leaves kind of come into play. They turn a little bit yellow when it's kind of fall. There's snowy mountaintops that are gorgeous, and your character reacts and moves to the snow and you see it moving throughout, and you have to dredge up through it even when you're dashing if you're going uphill and things like that, which is a stark contrast to your slick movement that you had on previous terrain. And there's beautiful waterfalls and riversides and cliff sides that you explore, and it's just an outstanding game in terms of its visuals. It is beautiful. It's a painting come to life is the best way to explain it. It has a very hard emphasis on, in my opinion, I guess, watercolor visuals, and it's so beautiful. The game's presentation cannot be stated enough. It's gorgeous, and everything about it moves and flows like you're watching an animated movie or a beautiful painting, right? It's downright fantastic. That also goes doubly for the architecture design. There's a lot of ruins and rubble scattered throughout, but it's very explorative in the fact that there's these little chasms and cracks and holes, and some of these are used for puzzles where you shoot arrows through and you get to unlock certain doors and mechanisms and things, and others are just to explore and gain power-ups and different abilities and things. So you have this sense of a Metroidvania, and the fact that there's no minimap or heads-up display or any of that stuff really enhances the experience because you're just exploring this vast open zones, and it's just intoxicating because you're just fully immersed in this world with some of the most incredible music I've heard, some of the most beautiful visuals and animation I've seen in a while, and it's just great. The best part for sure is when things are firing off all cylinders and you're dashing to your next objective, and you are running through these open fields and the music is swelling and dynamic and kind of feeding with what actions you're doing on screen, and it's a treat to the ears. It really is. I mean, just listen to some of this stuff. I mean, that is all you need to know. Really take in what you've seen in those visuals and kind of imagine playing that, and you kind of get a gist of the Pathless gameplay loop. It's very simplistic, but still a ton of fun. That brings us to, well, the gameplay, obviously, and it is a very simple game, all things considered still, and it boils down to these talismans that are thrown across the world, which allow you to dash, essentially. You hold RT to shoot your bow and arrow, you hold the left trigger for sprinting, and as you hit each talisman, you get a little boost of speed, a little, jump, and you go a little bit faster and a little bit faster, and you get the gist. And eventually, you're able to build up enough speed to just go flying through fields and get to your next objective with ease. And I know what you're saying, in a game with no minimap and or objective markers or heads-up display, how do you find your next objective? There's a little spirit visor that comes on. You press either L1 or the triangle button, and you have the spirit visor that kind of shows you your overworld, and you have these beautiful glowing orange hues that kind of point you towards your next direction. So using all your movement methods, whether it be gliding or flapping your wings for a boost of verticality or whatever may be, you get to your next objective and you solve a mini puzzle. Now these puzzles usually consist of moving blocks, opening doors to with moving blocks, shooting arrows to land on different torches and light them up to gain a piece of a statue and things like that. There's all these tiny little things that are done throughout the game, and the bulk of the puzzles are pretty simple. They're never too complex. They're very easy to solve, and they do sometimes leave you a little bit head scratchy, I'm not gonna lie, just because of the nature of the open world design and stuff, but it's never frustrating. They are very fun to solve, and I like how each puzzle is environmental. You have to think about your environment, you have to look around, you have to take in the sights and the scenery, and that's often used to solve them, and I really like that feeling. It's very gratifying solving a puzzle, and even ones that I'm frustrated with and can't really figure out, it's more less of a frustration of the game and more just like, I just gotta come back to this one, like I just need some time to figure this one out. So I'll go look for an easier one for now, which there usually are, and it's great. So after completing all of these puzzles, you'll get enough pieces to unlock watchtowers that shine these lights on the beast of the domain. Now the 4 beasts that I was talking about earlier, the 4 children, they've been corrupted by the Godslayer, so you have to solve these 4 different puzzles or whatever, or a bunch of different puzzles I should say, and then you'll be able to unlock the power to go take on these beasts head on. Now there's two phases to these guys. There's the first phase, which is you collecting all the puzzles and stuff, and as you see, there's a giant storm swirling in the background. So if you get caught in this storm, it's basically curtains. You have to slowly sneak your way around to pick your bird back up, and it is downright terrifying. It's great with the music and the score, and sometimes there's no cover at all, so you have to stay completely still for a lot of the time, and it's just very strenuous and agonizing, and you want to be as careful and as calculate as you can to receive your bird. So you have to pay attention to your surroundings and your environment before you go headfirst sprinting into objectives and things, because you never know when that storm can get you and make your day that much worse, right? And then of course there's the second phase, which is the boss fights, where you shine all the lights of the watchtowers and you get into this epic chase battle, and you're flying through the fields and the music's swelling and all that great stuff, and you take down the boss, and it's a 3-phase fight. It's pretty formulaic going through each world, but I like it because of that. And the best way to describe the game is, if you've ever played Shadow of the Colossus or anything of that nature, it is very reminiscent of a Team Ico game, and I think that's why Pathless is very much ingrained in my memory right now. It is so perfect in its execution, and it's very aware of what it wants to be, and it achieves that amazingly, and I have no issues with it. It is an excellent title. I kid you not, a 10 out of 10. I had no glitches, no bugs, no crashes, and it's just a start to finish excellent adventure puzzle journey that I never got bored with, and I'm still coming back to for 100% because I love its world, I love its characters, its lore, the way everything is just swollen, and it just feels great. It's truly like an anime come to life or a CGI movie or something of that nature to me, and it's a game experience that is so simple in its execution but so very rewarding and gratifying to play through, and I just love it because of that. Another thing I love is its cinematic approach to its platforming and I guess world and cameras and stuff. It's very dynamic with its camera, and it never gets in the way or feels frustrating. There was a couple times during puzzles where you kind of get stuck behind things and stuff like that, but again, it's never frustrating. I just press a button to reset it, and it never has like another issue of that again. But yeah, the Pathless is incredible, and I wanted to make this video because this is a game that you should not miss. It is one of the best titles I've played of 2020, and I don't want it to go under the radar just because it's stuck on the Epic Game Store, or people don't want to buy it because they hear it's a PS5 game and, you know, they don't have a PS5 yet or something. Like, it's still on your PS4. Please check it out. It's only $40, and you're getting an excellent 6 to 7 hour puzzle solving world trotting journey. It's great with so many tiny little twists and turns in its story and lore, and it's just a really fun experience that you should not miss. So that's about going to do it for our Pathless review. Thank you all so much for watching. As per usual, leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. You guys know all the usual great stuff, and most importantly, just know that this channel is going to be going through a bit of a transition period. I will link down below my channel update about what's going to be going on, but keep that in mind as we move on to the next year. It's been an absolute crazy year. I think I've pumped out a video consistently, 2 to 3 like every single week, and I'm really proud of that. There was a couple weeks I missed, but that was just the nature of, you know, COVID and life and stuff, but still very happy of where the channel's going. We're just going to work on growing our viewership next, and, you know, we'll discuss more of that later. So again, thank you all so much for sticking with the content. You guys are awesome people. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday if I don't see you again, because again, we don't know when videos are going to be coming up. It's getting to that time of year, but regardless, you guys are awesome. Be safe out there. Have a wonderful day. Peace.